Can everyone hear me? Is there any issues in audio? Hello. We'll be starting shortly. The speaker will join soon.
To another session of Meet the Mind. I'm your host, Antony, and welcome to the session on demystifying project management. Project management is something that we find very intuitive by ourselves, but it's something that none of us can really define. So there are a lot of misconceptions about it. So to clear those misconceptions and to teach us what it really is about, we have with us a really experienced speaker. He's currently the program manager at Bosch, and he's a certified trainer at PMI. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Bhuvana Sundar. Sir.
Hey, Antony, thanks a lot. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Can you just rotate the camera to your front?
Okay.
Front cam, sir. Yes, sir.
One moment. It is.
Yes, sir, it's fine.
Right. Am I?
Now it's okay. Sir.
Am I visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Strange, because I am not able to see myself. Just a moment. Yeah, one moment. How do I? We had a dry run just now, but I'm connecting from my wife's camera. Just a minute.
Yes, sir. We can see you, sir. I don't think. If anyone has any issues with audio or video, please just let us know in the comments.
Yes, please, because I cannot use my headphones because of the orientation of the phone. And to all people out there, I come from a previous generation, so please bear with me. I come from what you would call as a stone age. And in fact, till Antony and Barathy contacted me early this week, I did not even have an Instagram account. I never used Instagram in my life before. And first time in my life, I'm having an Instagram something actually. I don't know what the terms you use, handles, live and all this. So thanks to our enthusiastic folks here, right, Antony and team, I at least knew how to use the basics of Instagram. And now actually I am on Instagram. This is a great thing. Thank you very much. In fact, I had a lot to learn in this last, 3-4 days. But only one quick thing. I'm not able to see myself. Could that be a reason? Why?
We can see you, sir. I think everyone can see you right now. I don't think that's an issue. You'll be in the lower part of the screen, sir. You'll be
maybe. Okay. Maybe. Okay. Probably. So just if anything goes wrong with the video or audio, please let me know. Beautiful.
All right, sir.
Karna, good.
All right, sir.
So, Antony, thanks a lot again. Thank you everyone for this opportunity. Maybe, Antony and team have given actually a hyper expectation about me and everything. So let me, sort of bring everything to the ground. My name is Bhuvan, and our guys said a lot of things about me, but one most important thing which was not really highlighted, which should be highlighted, is I am an alumnus of VIT. So I am one of you.
Yes.
And from a few generations back, I did my BE in electronics and communication engineering from not from VIT, hold your breath, from VEC. And that was, for those of you who don't know what VEC is, VEC was the old VIT, Vellore Engineering College. So the year I left VEC, it became VIT. And so I finished in 2001. Then I went to Germany for my master's degree in telecommunication engineering at the University of Applied Sciences at Darmstadt. Most of you will be aware of that. And for 9 years, I was in Germany working in various fields. And then then in 2010, I came back to India. And the last 10 years, I have been in India, first in Chennai for 4 years working with GE. And the last 6.5 years, I'm at Coimbatore. Many of you know this place, Coimbatore. So I'm working at Bosch as a program manager. So in the field of automotive engineering, I am responsible for development, software, hardware, mechanical, everything, the entire program for developing automotive steering, what you call it as electrical power steering for automobiles. And so that's about it. And in my other avatars, basically, I'm also the Vice President of the VIT Alumni Association Coimbatore chapter. That's from VIT. And with PMI, Project Management Institute, you will see more about it in our session today. I'm at least now the EVP for outreach at the moment for PMI Chennai chapter that covers Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry. And there'll be some changes in the roles soon. And of course, I'm also a full-time PMP just to give some credentials about, so to keep you motivated about what credential does this guy have actually to talk about project management. I'm also a trainer for what many people know as PMP, Project Management Professional Certification, the world's #1 certification on project management. So I'm a regular trainer for some PMI chapters, as well as within the organization, I do quite a lot of trainings. But most importantly, I go to schools, universities. When I say go, right, before the lockdown struck us, I used to go into schools and colleges, talking to students, both school students, 3rd standard onwards, up to 12th standard, and college students like you, about project management, professionalism, how to make the transition from campus to corporate, how to make yourselves more organized, all these topics with a view towards transforming the country and transforming the younger generation through education. And my specialization is project management. So that's about it I bring to the table. So thank you very much for the opportunity, Antony, Barathy, and team. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us, sir. So, sir, the concept of project management, like I was saying, it seems like a very, very simple topic. Like something you just hear the name and you think, oh yeah, I know what it is. But when we ask anyone in the comments to like explain what it actually is, they will get a lot of different answers.
Okay.
Even comparing to what a project is itself. So in your words, in a technical sense or in a basic sense, before we define what is project management, can you tell us what is a project before getting into the management side of it?
Beautiful. I don't know how many of our audience following here understand Tamil, because in Tamil there is a beautiful word. It's a very classic word, chappamatter. You know what chappamatter is? Right?
Very easy thing, I guess.
Yes, for the benefit of non-Tamil speaking people, chappamatter means, come on, it's bakwas, they call it, right? It's nothing. See, most of us think project management is for people who have got bald head, who have some years of many years of experience, who have a magic wand or a stick in their hands, commanding and controlling people. And that's something that needs quite a lot of qualification, right, in double quotes, background qualification, and also, how to say, basically with 2 horns, a tail, and a pitchfork. Sorry, actually, that's a devil. It's not a project manager. One thing we don't realize is every day in our life, even when we are kids, we are doing project management. That's what we want to demystify, right? Project management is not for managers or for experienced people. I'll tell you what a project, an example is. How many of us have bought a mobile phone? All of us, right? Sometime or other, we don't let our parents or elders choose mobile phone for us. We have at least, my budget is 10,000 rupees, 20,000 rupees. I want to buy, or probably I can buy an iPhone. I should be ready to shell out at least 50K, 60K or something. So you already have some constraints. You have a budget and you have a time period within which you want to. Say, for example, I want to buy this phone within the next 3 months. And you also have some specifications. I want a very good camera, front camera, back camera, storage space, brand. So basically, these are 3 things we call as the triple constraints in a project: scope, That's what you want to do. Schedule by when you want to do, and cost, how much can you spend to do it. We all do it every day. And many of you, not many of you, all of you actually are students, right? In your B, third year, fourth year, MBA, whatever, you do projects. Have you sit back and ever thought what this project is? You may be developing some system, you may be doing something, or some of you would also, even some of you, right, would also smartly pay some money to an external company and get the projects done, and you just let them prepare you. I know all the stuff that goes on because I was a student, I'm one of you. Even that actually is a project. You need not do a work yourself. Getting the work done, that is project management. And we do it day in and day out. Organizing a birthday party if your kids, or say, I don't know what kind of parties you hold, actually, quite a lot of parties. I would not speak, this is a public forum, but you want to plan any kind of party that you have, or any activities, CSR, social responsibility activities. I know in VIT, you guys do quite a lot of the social responsibility activities. To do anything, you have always limitations. You have certain expectations, requirements, what you need to do. You have a time frame within which to do it. You always have money is always limited. You go to your professors, to your management, you ask for budget, it's always limited. So everywhere we come across a situation where something needs to be done, and you want so many things, and you don't get everything. Nothing is given to on a platter. There comes project management. So a project, basically, as say PMI defines, is anything that is temporary in nature, that has a clear start and an end, and that produces a unique service or product or result. So a result basically of your mobile phone search could be the mobile phone in your hands, you showing off to your friends. So even that, so you do quite a lot of planning, right? So without realizing, we are actually doing projects, and without realizing, we are implementing all the basic principles of project management that Delhi Metro did, or a Mangalyaan project did, or whatever you call it, the amazing projects, whatever those great people are doing, we are all doing it in our everyday life without realizing. The only thing is they get advertised as project managers, we don't get. That's the difference. So project is anything that we do in our everyday life, and managing things, getting it done, is project management. Yeah.
Okay, so it's basically like something we relate to in our everyday life. But
Yes.
when you look at the role of a project manager in industry terms, in terms of a career role, what exactly does it mean to be a project manager there? Like, how far can the project manager interfere in the development of a project, or how far he or she can involve him or herself in it?
Beautiful. I would slightly rephrase this question. How much a project manager can interfere is slightly, how to say, I would reword it as, how much can a project manager get involved in a project? So project management, if you see, it has various stages. So what we call as classically 5 stages, right? We initiate a work. In initiating, basically we say, yes, we are going to do something. And these are the people who will be involved, at least at a high level. At the first level, these are the people who will be involved in the project. And then you plan. So we say, we define these are the things that could be done, time frame, cost, and quality requirements, for example. See, not everything is perfect. You will have some defects, for example, in your whatever you do. It says so many defects are allowable. And resources, resources means anything. It could be human resources. That's us people working in the project. It could be physical resources, basically. That could be a hardware, a software, a laptop, a lab setup, or a room to conduct a meeting, like this tool, Instagram Live, everything, all these resources. And for example, outsourcing. For example, if you're doing your projects, right, sometimes you outsource it to companies, you pay some money, they get your projects done. Again, but you also have to be aware of, they give you all the documentations and everything. And then risks. Risk is anything that can impact your project in a good way or a bad way. All these things. So when we say project, someone has to take ownership. The word ownership in double quotes, right? It's some color that someone has to hold, because someone has to be held accountable and responsible for the outcomes of this project. And that is what a project manager basically does. It doesn't matter how big or small the project is. It could be a very small documentation activity that runs for 1 week. It could be launching a man to Mars or man to moon. Doesn't matter. Anything what you do needs to be initiated, to be planned for properly. And then, of course, execution. Execution is basically executing the plan, implementing whatever you plan, getting the bloody work done. And then when you're doing tracking it, monitoring and controlling it. Controlling doesn't mean a bad kind of control. It is basically controlling the performance of the project. So you look at the plan, you look at what is actually being done. You see if everything is okay, or if there is a deviation between the plan and what is actually being delivered, you make corrections. Having all these phases, the project manager is basically involved in every single one of them, and he owns that. And slightly at a higher level, a project manager is also involved in defining the strategic goals. That's called strategic project management. So basically, strategy means how the organization runs. Because see, VIT basically is in university. You can consider VIT as an organization, and in that there are different sub-organizations like the departments, Sense, Select, the IT architecture school. So many departments, so many schools are there, and each of them runs its own activities. For example, conducting your classes and examination assessment is only one part of it. They also have to do quite a lot of things in the back end which you will never even know all the time. So to do all this,
the accounting and all of that,
exactly, the supporting activities, everything, to do this, the job of a teacher or an educator is not a joke. Actually, it's a huge thing. For us, we may look, he or she comes into the classroom and delivers something, but in the back end so many things are running. So who takes care of all these things? And what if this project that you are doing, right, the goals of this project, what if it is contradictory to the goals of the organization? Sometimes you start, for example, you students are very enthusiastic. You say, you go to your professors and say, sir, I want to do a blockchain project. They say, fine, you're enthusiastic in your area, whatever area you're working on, initiate a blockchain project. But then somewhere at organization level, the management, VIT management has taken a call that we are going to align all the blockchain activities. We are going to create a new center of excellence called blockchain. And we are going to align the work of multiple departments of this into one. If the work you are doing is not connected with this strategy of VIT, sometimes if it runs counter to what VIT is trying to do, in the end, there will be duplication of work, there will be contradiction, there will be deletion of work. So the project manager also should be working very closely with the management to align the strategy of the organization with the goals of the project. So these are the various things. And of course, after the project is over, the product that you are creating will live forever, right? Imagine it could be an automobile part. Say, I work in automotive steering. We develop electrical power steering. That is in the market, 15 years warranty minimum, 15 to 20 years is the product life cycle. Who will take care of the claims, the warranty and everything? We cannot say my project I closed, development is over, and 7 years later some big field issue comes. Who will take care of it? So all these things should be taken care of in a very accountable and responsible manner. And this is a subset, a major subset of what are all the things a project manager will be doing in a project. Hope this clarifies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's basically like a link between the management side and the team that is working on the project. That is basically, in essence, would be what a project manager is.
At a high level, yes. But link is a very tricky thing because, see, the people who have the financial or strategic goals basically is the management. But the people who do the hard and dirty work, right, getting their hands dirty and doing the work, or the team. And sometimes they don't gel well together. So in that aspect, yes, the project manager is a very good link between the management and the team. But as we will maybe discuss a little later in the session, in the latest trends in project management, we also have this concept of agility, where the project manager is not just a link. The project manager is a servant to the team. So basically, so that's basically the role of a project. So in a sense, a project manager is someone who first has the knowledge and the skills needed about project management needed to deliver work. Second, a project manager is someone who understands the constraints. Constraints means limitations in terms of scope, what has to be done, schedule, by when it has to be done, cost, how much you can do, all who lives with these constraints. Because if everything you ask is given, we don't have a job. Because resources are not limited. You ask for 1,000 rupees, you get 500 rupees. You ask for 20 people, you get 10 people. Resources are always limited. So working within the constraints and still delivering, that is one. And the third and the most important thing is communicating. If you ask me Bhuvan, tell me only one thing. What is the single most important job of a project manager? Communication. Okay, Bhuvan, I give you some leverage. 2 roles, communication and communication. Can you tell me, Bhuvan, 3 major activities of a project manager? I will say communication, communication, communication. So that's the most important job of a project manager. Yeah.
All right. So you've also mentioned that you are a certified trainer from PMI.
Mm-hmm.
So what exactly is PMI as an organization, and how do they actually help project managers or aspiring project managers in general.
Beautiful.
So because since the project managers are it's a pretty general job, as you said, like anyone can be a project manager in their lives. So what does this certification or what does this organization do or help in the process of becoming a project manager?
Beautiful. See, PMI is Project Management Institute. It was established in 1969, the year when man went to the moon. So it's last year was the 50th anniversary of PMI. So PMI is an institution which has over 500,000 members and is growing, ever growing. And there are quite a lot of, activities. PMI is the global organization that is a flag bearer of project management. There are some other organizations which also offer certifications in project management and everything, but the biggest and the most famous, well-known one is PMI. It's based in USA. And the PMI works through what we call as local chapters. Every country, every city, major city has its own chapter and it works through. So PMI, what it does in effect is, it is a standard flagship or standard bearer for project management. It owns the gold standard for project management, which we call as PMBOK. That is Project Management Body of Knowledge. So that is the basis for the framework of project management as globally defined, and on which all the certifications like PMP certification is based. And it runs quite a lot of accredited programs in project management. And it also, ensures through its active membership across the world and through its chapters and everything, that the project management standard as envisaged, the vision of project management is very clearly defined and also communicated and executed or implemented at the grassroots level. The grassroots level could be project management practitioners like us. It could be organizations. It could be any organization like Bosch, for example, where I work. It could be VIT, any of these organizations. And most importantly, also through NGOs, because PMI also has the social contribution, or what you call called as the NGO, the CSR wing. That's called the Education Foundation, where say students like you should be it should be appealing to you. The PMI Education Foundation does quite a lot of activities in helping NGOs, individuals, and quite a lot of academic institutions through project management activities, in helping them run their social activities and project management activities, and also educating and bringing awareness to project management to a wider section of the society. So on one side, of course, there is the well-known aspect, which is running this PMP certification and setting the standards, running the certification programs, volunteering. On one side, this is there. But on the other side, it also has an education foundation through which quite a lot of the CSR activities are happening. And as chapter, for example, in India, we have, in fact, yesterday we had, or today, I think we had the inauguration of the 9th chapter. We have 9 chapters of PMI in India. Of course, in Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry is covered by the Chennai chapter. Then we have Bangalore chapter, Hyderabad, Pearl City, then PMI Kerala and Trivandrum chapter, then Mumbai, then Pune, Deccan chapter, Kolkata, West Bengal chapter, and Delhi, North India chapter. And today, the Gujarat chapter was also inaugurated. So we have 9 chapters. So PMI basically runs its activities or brings into reality its vision through these chapters. So these chapters basically have members, so registered members in these chapters. So these chapters, or in addition to conducting the PMP trainings, they also go into, they have outreach into corporates. For example, they go into corporate organizations, not only giving them trainings, but also helping them apply the various principles and practices of project management into real projects. They go into academia, setting up, for example, student bodies, helping the academia leverage the benefits of project management, which are otherwise only available to big organizations with deep pockets. We also support PMI EF. These are some of the things that we through chapters also do it. And but what is visible to the outside world whenever someone talks of PMI is, okay, PMI, PMP. PMP is very well known. But surely, as you may see later, how PMI also touches the life and career of students also quite a lot, which we will see in detail. So this, in essence, basically is what PMI is. and 50 years now. And so in 50 years, mankind has seen quite a lot of changes. When at the time PMI was launched, man was still going to the moon. But now man has gone further. At least man has not physically traveled beyond the moon, but man has sent his probes everywhere into Mars, the further reaches, the Voyager, and everything they have gone. And everything is managed as a project. And we have seen in the last 50 years how the concept of what a project is has actually been evolving. And what
Yes.
was a minor activity done by a small set of people has now expanded, say, a project being done globally, right? Now virtually. Even before the lockdown, there used to be globally distributed teams. Now everyone is connected virtually at a global level, sitting inside homes and being connected. The complexity has only been increasing. Complexity of what has to be done, what the requirements, what the constraints, everything has become complex. And PMI's role only has become even more evolved to support this evolving complex nature of the projects.
Yes, sir. So you've also mentioned that you've given training to students, and students have a lot of involvement in PMI when it comes to training. So as a student who is watching this right now, how can PMI help any prospective project managers who are students right now watching this?
Beautiful. First of all, students equals project managers, budding project managers. Let's have that assumption. It's not very difficult to assume that we are all budding project managers. So, as I said, project management need not be something, say you finish your studies or higher studies, you go for an MS or MTech or MBA, and then you join a company, 1 or 2 years, you work as a slave to someone else, and then you slowly grow. No, you're from a junior developer to a senior developer. No, it need not be that. Students already, or as I said earlier, are involved in various projects, even your own academic projects, be third year, fourth year projects, right? Even from that you are doing. So students can make themselves aware of what the entire deal of project management is. What is it? It's actually, as I said, it's not a big thing. So there are lots of literature available, free of cost for students on the internet, especially from PMI. Students can creating an account is nothing, and student membership, if it's done through the universities and everything, it's not very expensive. And free of cost on PMI Education Foundation's website. I will separately share with you. So on the PMI EF website, there are quite a lot of resources and literature available for students, where basically you can learn what project management is in a very playway method. For example, there are lots of gamification methods to learn. Say how you initiate a project, how you plan, how you execute, monitor, control, how you close. And then we have so-called knowledge areas. You have scope management, how you manage what you have to do in the project, schedule management, managing the time, cost management, quality management, resource management, risk management, communication management, and procurement when you are procuring or from external vendors, stakeholder management. All these things students can learn today for doing any small project. It could be a hackathon. In fact, I want to say this. See, I'm a very proud. If you can see from my T-shirt, I'm a very proud alumnus of VIT, like all of us should be. That's why I wanted to wear this T-shirt today. 2 years back, I was at a hackathon, VIT hackathon in the Anna Auditorium. I was there as a judge 2 years back. The guys it was a Saturday afternoon. They started the work. Oh, entire night they were working, and next day they had to present it to us, to judges. I was shocked because concepts like blockchain, IoT and all, we are still struggling in the industry to learn. I'm trying to learn blockchain, IoT, trying to do that. These students, sorry if I use the word kids, it's in a very, how to say, a familiar way I'm using it in a very, how to say, yeah. Kids, first year, second year students, right? They're sitting and very casually programming blockchains. I said, amazing. And one other interesting thing was, it's not just the technology, the way they were planning. They had a very clear concept of what requirements was, what design was. And in fact, 2 or 3 students, right, sitting together in that Anna Auditorium, right, lying down, sitting and having whatever, their cool drinks, snacks and everything. They were actually talking language, which I, say 19 years back, in 2001, when I finished my BE, I would never have even understood. If someone came and repeated drill in my head, I would still not have understood. They were talking things like, hey, what to do first, what to do next, what is the design for this, how to structure, and how to plan, how to go about in a structured manner. What could go wrong? What could go wrong is risk. What I need to do is scope. I have a timeline, that's schedule. I can buy only so much because I have only so much money, that is cost. You know what? I have to inform this person and get the answer back. That's communication. Hey, I need one more laptop. Can someone bring a better laptop? That's talking to people. That's communication management, communicating the status. And you know what? We are going to take this source, free, what is this called? Freeware. You are taking it and using it. Can I talk to someone else who can actually supply to me? I don't want to do it myself. I will buy it from someone. Should I make it myself? Should I buy it from someone? That's procurement management. Amazing. You students are already doing these things. Only thing is you are not using the right tools, right terminologies. So what I would tell the students is, first of all, a student is a budding project manager. Do not wait for some boss to come and bloody tell you, do this, do that. You make yourselves aware of the terms, the terminologies that PMI or any global body talks about in terms of project management. So you will know that you're already doing it. Just you have to, the gap is between the actual terms and what you're using in your real life. That's it. And be aware of them.
Okay.
And of course, PMP certification is a bit far-fetched. Students, you need also experience, lots of work experience to write a PMP, because PMP, to even write a PMP exam, you need to have experience. But there's something called CIPM, Certified Associate in Project Management. It's also based on the PMBOK, the PM Body of Knowledge. It also needs experience, but a very lesser experience compared to what PMP needs. But most importantly, you can go through the PMBOK, understand how the world sees project management, because PMBOK is nothing but a collection of best practices. For more than 50 years, people have done projects. They have succeeded, they have failed. There are best practices, there are bad practices. So what people do is, they have a collection of all these practices. Hey, I did this, I succeeded. I did this, I failed. So this collection of best practices, they have bundled together as a body of knowledge. So going through this body of knowledge, looking back to the last more than 50 years, looking at the wealth of experience of all the people, that itself is a very good start. You can get this, lots of supporting materials on PMI Education Foundation, pmief.org. If you go, you can get this free of cost. Playway methods, as I said, you can learn. So as students today, you can try to apply these concepts, try to use this terminology, but more than memorizing these terms, try to apply this. Basically, you will be doing projects even in your first year. Now it's not anymore 2000 or 2001, when basically the first time we ever did a project was final year project. That too, it was complicated actually for us. You guys now do quite a lot of self-motivated, self-interest projects and everything in your first year itself. So what you do is, you go through the standard, for example, and then you see, I am doing this. This is what I have to do. How does the world see it? How does the global standard for project management see it? Are there some terms? Try proactively using these terms. Try being project managers. You are budding project managers. Try using these terms. Try behaving like project managers, and also take ownership. And that's the biggest thing I would say as students, to become project managers, to become a professional. I would say it's not a project manager alone. To become a professional, the biggest thing that you need to do or to have is ownership. Ownership means what? When something is given to you, people can happily forget whether you are going to do it or not. They can peacefully sleep. Your customer who is paying you the money to do it, your managers, your professors, who is giving you the task, can happily and peacefully sleep knowing that they have given the task in responsible hands. That's what professionalism is. So today, so much professionalism is expected in a company may not be needed when you're doing your first year, second year, final year projects. But try to, model that behavior when you are students. So try to implement whatever concepts, the global body says. Try to take the ownership, the no excuse mentality. For example, try to make this
use it in a day-to-day project.
Exactly. Try to have this, and that is a very good, because I have seen. I have studied in India. I have studied in Germany. I have worked in Germany. I have worked in India. I have worked under people. I have worked with people, and I have had people reporting to me. What I've seen from my experience so far is, we Indians generally are very good in 99 out of 100 things. Technically, we are among the most superior people on earth. We are smart. And more importantly, we are flexible. We don't give excuses. We don't say it's 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, like many Westerners say. We do it all. Hey, can you please come on a weekend? Yes. We are the most flexible lot on earth. We are among the smartest on earth. We are ahead of the world in many aspects. But one aspect, what I have seen from my experience, where we could have some improvement if you need to beat the world or to lead the world, I would say it. is this professionalism, structured way of working. Given anything, we can deliver it, but taking an ownership and saying, you know what, I have been given this task, it's mine, and when this is finished, when it's all said and done and dusted, if someone sees, they will say, hey, this is a stamp. Say, for example, Antony. Antony would have done this because I can see his stamp, I can see the professionalism, I can see the structured thoughts, the structured and professional organized way of working, systematic way of working. That is something that we could learn a little from other students world over, and learning the ropes of project management and taking the ownership, right? Taking ownership and everything is a very good positive step towards making the transition from being a good professional to a great professional, and making the transition from campus to corporate. So this is how students can prepare themselves today to being good project managers of the future.
Okay, sir. So you said there was a need to learn a lot of terms and terminology that we need to use to become good project managers. But right now, there are a lot of terminology, but right now there are certain current trends that we need to know about to become effective project managers. So what do you think are some important trends that are all the rage right now in the world of project management that students need to know about before getting into the field?
Beautiful. I'll tell you one thing that has always been there, but has carried a different context, different notion, or different meaning, right? Connotation. Now, is this these two words, common sense. So common sense, they say, is very uncommon. But in the earlier days, yeah, fine. Anyway, most of the project managers used to come from experienced positions. But now if you see how many startups, VIT, every year we see startups being spewed out just like that. People getting out of VIT and becoming startup owners. So now the word project management is carrying a different connotation. And instead of in the old world where you will get all the guidance working under the wings of someone, being protected by someone and having the cushion to fail and everything, nowadays that cushion is simply not there. Because the moment you step out of, or even when you're still a student, you're setting up your own startup. So who is there to guide you? So the meaning of a project manager has completely changed. And add to it the concept of agility. Everyone hears the latest trend, agile. And of course, there'll be a lot of terms thrown on, Scrum, Kanban, and all these things. One thing, let me demystify that also. These are also not new. These are already we are doing. For example, imagine you have semester examinations, right, in college. Imagine if you never had a semester exam.
Tomorrow we have our exams. We have our exam starting, sir. So a lot of people can relate to that example.
All the more, thank you actually for spending this 1 hour with me at the last moment when you have your examination. I'm really honored. It's really a privilege. Thank you very much. Yes. So I'll make it all the more worthwhile for you. So imagine instead of having your say term examinations or semester examinations, if they say no exams till your third year, only in your final year you will have for all the 3 years exam together. How will it be? Bad, right? So why do you have this intermediate examination, so-called milestones? It is because you have to fail early. So these terms like agile and everything don't necessarily guarantee success, but they ensure you fail fast, you fail early so you can learn. Imagine in mobile app development. In the past, in the automobile industry, products used to be developed for 15 years, 20 years. That's the life cycle of a project. But today, mobile app, imagine if you don't bring something to the market within 2 months, your competitor you would become obsolete. You can become obsolete in a matter of weeks or months. And in this situation, you go and say, no, wait. I have a plan. I will follow the plan, and any request you bring it in a formal process. I will take 2 months to evaluate it. Sorry, you're dead. And this is agility. Agility is the ability to respond to change in a way that adds value to the customer. So in earlier days, whenever you talked of a plan or things to do and everything, it was very much defined in the context of a plan, a long plan with lots of dependencies and everything. Today, we are living in what we call as a VUCA world, VUCA, volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. That's what VUCA, that's what defines the world now, the industry of today. And this came from the American military, because you remember Gulf War, up to Gulf War I, Vietnam War, World War I, II and everything, warfare was defined in a different way. The Air Force comes, bombs a city, and then once they are demoralized, enemies demoralized, the ground forces move in and everything, and then finally there's a mission accomplished. But we all know what, when one US president came with the banner mission accomplished on a warship, and the real war started only after that. So now the warfare is never, you don't know your enemies. It's house to house guerrilla warfare, house to house. We don't even know where the next risk, next threat will come from. So this is the VUCA world. And similarly, in industry also, when you are going to develop an app, a simple Android app or something, there is always someone somewhere working on that who can bring it out 1 day, 1 week earlier than you. And that can make or break, and all the hard work is gone. So you cannot actually wait and bring out a product in a longer time. And also, you don't even know the requirements. Earlier days, you used to have the requirements, everything made, and then you work requirements, then you design, then you develop, then you test it. But now this cycle is faster. So imagine you have a mobile phone, you have some 100 apps on your mobile phone. How many apps do you really use? So you are interested in developing an app for a mobile phone, but then the customer says, you know what? I really want to get this bloody thing on the market, and I don't have time to develop everything. And I also don't know what is really important. Can we start with a set of 3 or 4 features for this app and then get it out in the next 1 month, see how it goes, and then develop the next set of apps? Can we prioritize based on what? Based on what adds value to the end user or to the customer. Then you can say, okay, my mobile app can have an emailing thing. It can have an instant Insta communication or something, all these features. And you know what? Storing data and everything is not a feature I need immediately. So you prioritize based on what adds value to the business, and you do these things first, and you bring something called a minimum marketable feature or a minimum viable product. For example, you don't build, for example, if you're building a dining table, or you're building for example, it's not like building a car where you build the chassis first, then you build the steering, then you build a brake, then you build a roof. So at any given stage, you cannot sell the car. Only when the final stage is built, you can sell the car. But that is not what an MVP, minimum viable product, is. You build a small tricycle. Can you sell the tricycle immediately? Yes, you can. You can sell it to children. Then you build a bicycle, and you improve this bicycle into a motorized bicycle. And then you add 2 more wheels, and you make it as a motorized 4-wheeler. And then you make it a luxury car. At every stage of development, you have a product that you can actually get out into the market and sell. This is a very extreme example, but this is how development is nowadays. So the latest trends in Agile and everything, first of all, there is no time for you to bring your product to market. Second thing, even if you do have time, you don't know what to do. You don't know what your competitor is doing, or even if everyone is on the same page, they don't know how the market trend, what the customer will need, because the customer's expectations change. It keeps changing regularly. So in this situation, agility, the ability to respond to change very quickly, that takes precedence over any traditional planning. And this is something, and of course, the way to implement agility could be, you can use a Scrum model, you can use Kanban. There are various ways actually how you can implement. It's the flavors of Agile. But the umbrella concept of agility is having self-organizing teams. I told you about project leaders. So project managers basically are not anymore bosses or bossy. The concept of a project manager doesn't exist in the new Agile world. We have the concepts of a product owner, the one who communicates with the customer and with the team. We have a Scrum Master. A Scrum Master is someone who is a servant leader, whose only job or most important job is to facilitate, enable, empower. These are some key terms: enabling, empowering, self-organizing. The teams pick and choose what has to be developed. From a big list, we call it as a backlog. The product owner basically talks to the customer, and he or she makes a big list of things to do. And he or she prioritizes, this should be done first, next, and everything based on the value to the customer. But the team members, they pick and choose how much it costs to do it, how long, the estimations. They pick and choose, we will do this, we will not do this. They define the metrics, the KPIs, key performance indicators. They define everything, and they are very much involved in the planning, as against traditional management where the project manager does all this. And imagine now you try to fit in with the example I gave you. You are getting out of VIT and you are having a startup. Where is the training for you? Where are you as a junior developer, senior developer? You are the boss. And you are working with people who are much more experienced than you. You are hiring as a startup owner, a pass out from last year. You are hiring people who are very experienced in some area. Or you are getting juniors sometimes. How can you get the work done if you do traditional management? You can't. So these are some skills. Soft skills take precedence. Funny thing is, you're expected to have the maturity that comes with 15 years of experience in the very first year. You have to get that.
That's
Talking to people, soft skills, negotiation skills, persuasion skills, people management, what to talk, what not to talk, when to talk. Imagine all these things our elders would have told us, but you would say, shrugged their shoulders and said, yeah, so what? I will cross the bridge when the time comes. Funnily, you are crossing the bridge on day one when you step out of VIT. And that's the latest trend in project management. These are the skills that you need to build, actually, if you want to be a modern day project manager. And believe me, for you children, kids, students, it's actually very easy because you have very less to unlearn. We are more like behemoths. We are like dinosaurs. You have got so much of experience in working in one way. You're not finding it easy actually to adopt some of these skills. For you, the motivating thing is you have very less to unlearn these latest trends.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Okay. So thank you so much for such a detailed explanation in the short time we have. I think we'll be wrapping up soon. So in case anyone has any questions, you can post them in the chat on the question session for sir. Until then, sir, can you just give us the closing remarks, as in like, what can someone who just watched this session, once this session ends, what is the immediate first step they can take to become a project manager?
Beautiful. First thing that you can do when at 7 o'clock you step out this session, understand that things both in life and career can be complex, will be complex. There is no such thing as free lunch. There is no such thing as easy thing. But how good a professional you are defines how simple you make these things, how you simplify these things. So you will be facing complex things, but the thing that will give you the confidence to break these complex things into simple things is both the set of knowledge and skills that you possess and also your attitude. So attitude is the first thing that you need to relook into when you step out of this thing. Second, to build your knowledge and skills, learn a lot. Of course, your technology, nobody has to teach you. You learn it yourself. Your professors are there. The great institution is there. Everything you can learn. What is not taught to you, or these things out of curriculum? For example, nobody teaches you project management. Nobody can teach you common sense. You have to develop common sense. So be always willing to learn. Be willing to learn from anyone and from everywhere. People of any age, any background. Always, everyone has something or the other to teach you. And you have something or the other to learn from anyone. So learn this. Open up your mind. As I said, compared to people like us, you guys have already an open mind. You have very less to unlearn. So try to learn as much as possible. Prioritizing, because now knowledge is freely available. So much is available. Prioritize. So your brain is not a hard disk. Your brain is a RAM. So be very careful of what you feed into this brain. So be very systematic and organized. You have a purpose. I always like using the word purpose. First of all, see what is the purpose in your life or your career. Sorry, it's turning into a philosophical session, but always, why do I exist? This existential questions, right? Try to develop your purpose in life. May change 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. It's okay, but not having a purpose is worse than a changing purpose. Have a purpose. What am I meant to do in my life and career? This purpose basically will give you the plan and will give you the basis to prioritize what to do today and what to do tomorrow, what to do first and what to do second. So from a purpose, you develop a plan. See, your life should be planned. So don't let your life be guided by the circumstances that come around. Make your life a planned one. By that I don't mean in a very strict way. Have a plan. Only if you have a plan, you will know that you are deviating from your purpose. If you don't even have a plan, you don't know your markers where you are. So have a plan, and plan both for your life and for your career, and then prioritize what you're going to learn at what time, and which time what you learn and everything. And then try, in terms of project management, try to gobble up as much knowledge as possible. And the most important thing is try to implement everything you learn in your everyday life. As I told you, you are doing projects whether you realize it or not. From a simple selection of a mobile phone to complex, you are doing a project. And tomorrow, for example, in this Corona time, and this, what you're doing is a project. VIT Gravitas, right? To Instagram, you're running the series of Meet the Mind sessions. That's a project. So just you're already doing things without realizing it's a project. So try to relate whatever you're doing to the concepts of project management. That gives you an in-depth grounding of your role as a project manager. And biggest thing is, and the last but not the least, I'll tell you as a suggestion, as a request is, whatever you're learning, teach others. You never have to wait. I have to learn so much. I have to learn 100 things so I can start teaching. No, you learn one thing, you can start teaching that. You learn two things, you can already start teaching that. Because I'll tell you, knowledge is so freely available, and knowledge should not be generally monetized unless it's very niche or something. That too, for the people who need it, right? There are so many. You guys are lucky, actually. All of us, I am lucky, you are lucky. We are all lucky, actually, to have studied in such an eminent institution like VIT. There are scores of people out there who are not so lucky. And I'm not only talking of poor people. I'm talking of people who are very willing to do work. They're not getting the opportunities. So even if a small, stupid thing you learn, go out and teach to people. And they say when you are learning something like in this session or in a training or something, just by listening, you learn only 30%. By asking questions and interacting, you learn 50%. By repeating to yourself, you learn 60 or 70%. You learn 100% only when you teach things. So that's a selfish reason also to teaching others. So project management, one of the biggest aspects of project management is knowledge management. So it grows organically. What you did today, nobody else should be having to do it again, because you've already done it. You've created a system out of it. So you're done the template. That's it. The knowledge is available. People can take over from where you left. They should not be reinventing the wheel. So teaching, making the knowledge that you have freely available, that's the biggest thing, both as a project manager and as a professional, right? That you can. That's my only expectation back. I hope this clarifies what you may do when you step out of this call.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. So I think we'll be ending the session now. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been an honor having you with us for this session and for teaching us about what project management is and demystifying it, as the session's title has said. Thank you so much, sir, on behalf of Gravitas.
Welcome. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks a lot, Antony, Barathy, and everyone. And thank you, actually. Yes, as tomorrow you're having your exams, and it really takes a purpose. I would say you must really have a purpose in your head to even decide to sit in this session 1 hour. Golden 1 hour actually before the exam. I'm really blessed and honored. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.